Left tackle is arguably one of the most important positions on the offensive side of the ball in the NFL, and the Rams are still figuring out that position. That's what we're going to be discussing in this video. Let's get into it. So here we are on the Rams wire, and you can see that Sean McVay breaks down what he's looking for in a starting left tackle. So going into this, we have two people that are competing, and that's going to be Alaric Jackson and then Joseph Noteboom. Joseph Noteboom was supposed to be the starter to begin last season, but then he tore his Achilles. There's been no indication of who's winning that competition as camp nears its end, and it doesn't sound like Sean McVay feels rushed to decide on a starter. Now, things that have been talked about earlier in this camp is kind of figuring out who that is going to be starting for the Rams at left tackle, so you can give the other guy a potential chance to be starting at one of the guard positions, because Joseph Noteboom and Alaric Jackson can both play guard. So possibly if Joseph Noteboom were to start at left tackle, then we could possibly start Alaric Jackson at, say, right guard, with Coleman Shelton at center or Brian Allen at center, and then Steve Avila at left guard, and then obviously Rob Havenstein at right tackle. But there's no indication of who's winning that, and it doesn't sound like Sean's rushed. During an interview on Inside Rams Camp, McVay said he's not putting a timetable on when he wants to pick a starting left tackle or center. I don't think you have any real timetable on it. I think you want to continue to be able to evaluate. So he just doesn't want to, give it to, say, Joseph Noteboom or Alaric Jackson, and then they start to slack off in camp, and then he has to kind of go back on his word. As for what he thinks, what he's looking for in a left tackle, McVay looked towards Andrew Whitworth, who always talked about production at that position. It sounds simple, but he also wants a player who will take care of responsibility on each play. That's when McVay got a bit more technical, describing a couple of different scenarios that a left tackle might face. I think it's production. I think you look at the big fella that was doing it at a high level for such a long period of time. He used to talk about production. What's my job within the framework of each single snap, and did I do my job? Am I checking that box or not, he said. Sometimes it can be a little bit flashier than others, but ultimately, if you're responsible for reaching an open side 5 technique, and you keep them covered up to be able to run the V gap and press it backside, job well done. If you're responsible for being the man on the side of the protection, and you keep your guy covered up just long enough to give Matthew a second hitch to be able to get through a progression, job well done. One additional trait that McVay wants in all of his linemen is physicality. He wants the Rams to be more physical on both sides of the line of scrimmage, which includes their left tackle. On that front, Jackson appears to play with a bit more physicality than Noteboom, so he could end up being the team's preferred left tackle. So that's something that could give you an insight. I personally think that Joseph Noteboom is going to win this battle. However, Alaric Jackson is kind of what Sean McVay is looking for. So it really just depends on who kind of wins that battle. It's a battle at left tackle as well as center. And we're going to be looking for consistency, snap in and snap out. I think we want to be a physical unit as well, he said. I think that's an important thing for us to establish, physicality on both sides of the line of scrimmage, but it is about production, snap in, snap out, and consistency, and that's what we want to be able to see. McVay hasn't said whether Jackson or Noteboom will play in the preseason, but given his recent comments about the plan being very different, we can assume they'll get at least some snaps in the preseason games to help sort out the position battle. And this is something I definitely agree with. I believe that the whole offensive line, Rams offensive line, except for Rob Havenstein and maybe even Steve Avila after one game, will not be playing, or will be playing. I believe Rob Havenstein and also Steve Avila possibly could be taking some preseason games off just because they're so important to that line. However, the other positions, center, left tackle, and whoever's going to be left at that guard, they're all fighting for those positions. So they could definitely be seeing a lot of playing time to see how they're going to be playing in these real speed games. So I think that Joseph Noteboom is probably going to get the nod, but if Sean McVay is really looking for that insane physicality, Alaric Jackson might be who they go with. So what do you think? Who do you think they're going to go with in the comment section below? Let me know, and then also leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.